Welcome to the Holly Hibbard Leadership Podcast, your go-to source for actionable insights, practical advice, and inspiring stories to help you lead with faith-filled purpose at work and at home. If you're looking to equip, empower, and encourage yourself to thrive in an ever-changing world, you're in the right place. I'm Holly Hibbard, and with over 20 years of experience as a science teacher, leadership coach, entrepreneur, and relationship mentor, I understand the challenges and growth opportunities that come with pursuing your passion. Whether you're chasing career goals, taking entrepreneurial leaps, or finally reaching for those long postponed ambitions, I'm here to help. So let's get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and explore ways you can lead your family, lead your life, and find your calling with intention and faith. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am so grateful that you are here listening to the Holly Hibbard Leadership Podcast. This is a topic that has come up numerous times this summer, at least, in my social media comments, and people are asking me, how do I stay calm when I feel overwhelmed? How do I feel calm when I am stressed out? So I want to break down for you in this episode, one, what is overwhelm to begin with? Are you actually overwhelmed, or are you going through something entirely different that is simply mislabeled? And then two, how do you calm yourself down when you're having those moments? And as always, if you know by now, my aim is to always give you content that's going to help you both reach further and higher in your life, both personally and professionally. So though I am an executive leadership coach, although I support you with social emotional learning and your emotional intelligence and your relationships, my aim is always to make sure that you are able to better your life in all aspects of your life. I don't like to keep myself in a box. I actually get really bored when I'm doing that. So let's get to it. How do you stay calm when you are feeling overwhelmed? What is overwhelm in the first place? I think that people, first of all, may not be feeling overwhelmed, but what they might be feeling instead is overstimulated. Being overstimulated is so common in today's world. And because of the nature of all the alerts and notifications and pings and dings and email and text and social media, we have become accustomed to our attention being asked for numerous times a day. And because it is, quote, normal, we don't recognize that all those alerts are taxing on our central nervous system, on our neurons in our body, our nervous system, everything in our body that tells our body that our brain is guiding our body on how to feel in our skin. Are we feeling anxious? Are we feeling stressed? So if you are overstimulated, what happens is we've got to find a way to quiet that down. But if we don't know that we're overstimulated, you don't have that word to put to it, that language to put to it, you might think instead, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just stressed. I have so much to do. And that's true also. You do have a lot to do in your life, I guess, I imagine, if you're listening to this show, because you are a person who aspires to be the best version of yourself personally and professionally. So what's happening here when you are overstimulated is you've got to recognize that what you're feeling, that stress, is not only because of a very long and growing to-do list, but it is a body response. It's a physiological and brain response to what is happening to you in the moment. So that's step one, is recognize, am I overwhelmed or am I overstimulated? So since I'm already on the topic of overstimulation, let's talk about how do I recognize that I'm overstimulated first? Because when you are overstimulated, you will feel like your attention is being pulled in 100 different directions, and it is very difficult to stay calm in those moments. It's very difficult to feel like you can look at one thing and go get that thing done. If you are also like me, let's add another layer to this. If you are neurodivergent or you have ADHD like I do, or other versions of neurodivergency, it makes it even more difficult because the overstimulation combined with the difficulty you may experience in prioritizing what needs to be tackled first only compounds and makes that feeling of, oh my gosh, I need to calm down, worse. So where do we start? If you have a feeling that your lack of calmness is because you're overstimulated, one of the simplest things you can do is turn off notifications. I didn't realize that all my notifications were an issue in my life until a few years ago. This is even before I was diagnosed with ADHD. But I noticed that every single time I had an email alert, a text alert, a social media alert, a new follow, a new comment, again, every ping and ding that was going off, I had to go and take care of it right then because I want to address it. I want to handle it. I want to reply to the email. I want to reply to the text because in some way my brain was thinking, get this off your plate and that will help you stay calm. And I discovered that that didn't work for me. What did help in getting me to a place where I could get calmer was to quiet the notifications. So most of the time, my phone is now on vibrate and I have all notifications turned off. The only notifications I actually have on my phone now are my daughter, who's 11, has a watch that she can text and call. She's the only one I have notifications on for, and I have some bypass with my husband and my brother and my family members, that kind of thing. And that's it. And even then, I sometimes will notice that I get a notification and I set it aside because I recognize that when I am overstimulated, when I put the pressure on myself to address the thing that wants my attention right now, it makes me feel all over the place, which then makes me feel like I'm not productive, which then makes me feel stressed, overwhelmed, behind. It doesn't help. So I had to turn my notifications off. Phone on vibrate now. When I was single, my phone was on silent. But again, I am married now. I have a family. I have more responsibilities. So now my phone is at least semi-reachable because a little bit of noise will come out of it if I have it near me, which typically I do. Overstimulation can also come from all of your other senses and from things that you may not be thinking of. So for example, when I am recording long form content for social media, like a YouTube video, or when I am in a Zoom meeting, here's a applicable one that I think you know about but don't know about yet. I have a lamp that is hooked up to my computer, and that lamp is on. And that lamp, as it is shining on my face and in my eyes, my sensory system, my sight is on display. It's being triggered. It's being asked to work. Now I have lighting for a reason because I'm being professional in the things that I am doing. However, it is asking of my body something to regulate. Let the light come through my eyes, make sure that I'm focused on this, that, and the other, and then add on top of that I am additionally having a conversation with other people. That is asking my eyes and my ears and my brain all to work in tandem. So newsflash, if you ever felt like, wow, how come phone call meetings or phone meetings don't seem to be as exhausting as a Zoom meeting, it's because you are in sensory overload or you are overstimulated. And I think on the other side of 2020 and 2021, as Zoom became the prevalent way that we communicate with people, and people were thinking, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere, why am I so exhausted? Even more so than I was. It's because you're overstimulated. and our lifestyle shifted dramatically, and for a lot of us permanently because of that time. So your overwhelm may not actually be overwhelm. It may be overstimulation. So whatever you can do to turn that down, the better. If you can make it a phone meeting instead of a video meeting, do it. If you can minimize the number of video meetings you have in a day, being face-to-face requires less energy because you don't have to focus on your presence digitally and what people are saying to you and what you are speaking back. Do you hear what I'm doing here? I hope you're getting the idea that this is a compounding effect. The more things you're being asked to do in the moment, you are overstimulated and you're taxing your nervous system. You're asking your nervous system to do more and more and more and more. And of course, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So, overstimulated, maybe you're hearing too many noises. Quiet your environment. Maybe there is a light in your face. See if you can dim it. See if you can do a phone call instead of a video. Anything you can do, if you think of your senses, your what you look at, what you're listening to, what you are feeling, like actually physically touching, all these things are asking your nervous system to focus on lots of different items. And what happens is it is going to overstimulate you. So if you can quiet some of those down, it will decrease that feeling of overwhelm that you have and boost up your experience of calm. Now, what if you feel like, all right, Holly, I'm pretty aware of my sensory overload. I have done everything that I can do to quiet down my environment, to minimize how much my nervous system has to do in a given moment. What if I legit am overwhelmed? Well, overwhelm is not just a body experience. Overwhelm is a feeling of you have a list of things to do personally and professionally, and the list is getting longer. You can cross off 10 things in a day, and when you go to bed, another 11 have been added. It's that feeling of being on the hamster wheel, never being able to fully catch up and feel accomplished or productive. So when you are overwhelmed, the simplest thing that you can do is to set a list of tasks that you know you can do in a given period of time, and then do them in that period of time. Now, again, as I said before, I have a difficult time with my ADHD prioritizing because everything feels important. But if I can turn it into a game, for example, if I say in the next 60 minutes, and I have a timer on my desk, timers on my phone, timers on my watch, if in the next 60 minutes I can create as much content as I can, then I go to work. So what I've done here is I know that I need to record a podcast episode or two. I know I need to record some short form videos. I know I need to send an email to my list. I know that I need to fix my website. I know I need to check in with previous clients. There's so many things that need to be done. And to me, yes, they're all important. But if I set a time limit, 60 minutes, look at my list and see how much can I get done in that 60 minutes and go and commit to myself a boundary that when the 60 minutes is up, I am going to take a break. Now, again, a benefit and a superpower of my ADHD is once I get into a project of some sort that I'm working on, I have hyperfocus. Hyperactivity for me with ADHD, the hyperactivity for me is not physical. My hyperactivity is in my brain. And so when I get into something, I don't let go. But getting into it is really difficult. So with overwhelm, whether you are neurodivergent or not, having a set time period and committing to a certain task or 2 or 3 tasks in that period, when that time period is up, you're going to be able to look back and say, you know, I committed to recording 2 podcast episodes and uploading them in 60 minutes time. And I did that. Because you have now made a commitment to yourself with a timeline, with a by when, and then you came through with it and stayed true to your word, that is not only going to lead to productivity, you're going to have that sense of accomplishment. I got something done. But additionally, it's going to create calm and decrease your sense of overwhelm because you had integrity with yourself. You made a promise to yourself and you kept it. And you can apply this strategy in your personal life, in your professional life. Sometimes it can even be something in the home, for example. If I have so many things that need to be done in the home, I might take 30 minutes, again, set my timer. I do better when I set my timer, especially if it's something I don't want to do and I see how much I can get done. But I make a list of what I'm aiming to do before I get started. Otherwise, I can go all over the place and try and do 20 things at once, and that doesn't work. So I might say, in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to fold this load of laundry, make my daughter's lunch, and put the dishes away in the dishwasher. Done. And if I get it done in 20 minutes, great. If I'm close and I need a couple extra minutes, sometimes I can take the couple extra minutes and sometimes I can't, but I'm still making progress, and progress is the antidote to overwhelm. Productivity, getting something done, is the cure for overwhelm. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, let's recap this. First, notice, are you overwhelmed because you are behind in your productivity and you feel you have no sense of I've gotten something done? Or are you overstimulated? If you are overstimulated, let's say you're both, okay? Tackle the overstimulation first. Because when you can calm down the body by shutting down notifications, turning some lights off, getting some things tidy up, whatever it is that is causing you sensory overload, quiet that first. And that is then going to give you a window of focus that you didn't have a moment ago. Once the overstimulation is quieted, now you can go to your tasks and determine in a specific period of time, this is what I'm going to accomplish, and be realistic. I have a weird advantage here in the sense that I was a middle school and high school earth science, physical science, chemistry teacher for 10 years. And because I taught 6 periods of students a day, 150 kids a day, I lived by the bell. I lived by that clock. And I knew how long I had. So I have ingrained in me at this point how long 5 minutes is, how long 15 minutes is. My feeling, my experience of time is pretty spot on. So if I am planning out, okay, I have 30 free minutes to do, quote unquote, free minutes. If I have 30 minutes to get something done, I realistically know what I am capable of. I don't typically overshoot it anymore like I used to, but you may not have that. So this might have a learning curve to it. So start simple, commit to getting one thing done in that time, and push yourself just a little bit. If you know that task is going to take you 2 minutes and you've given yourself 30, yeah, you're going to have that sense of accomplishment where you can cross the thing off the list. But you need to have a momentum here to squash some of that overwhelm. So really fill that 30 minutes with as much productivity as you can, because then that sense of accomplishment decreases the overwhelm, which then allows room for more focus and calm. And those are the ways, folks, of how to stay calm when you're overwhelmed. And really beyond staying calm, this episode is really more about how to claim calm, how to get to calm when you are experiencing overwhelm, and now you know, and/or overstimulation. I would love to know what you think about this episode. Please leave a comment. You can text the episode. There's a link in the show notes below. If you see this on social media, I would love for you to comment to me, are you living in a state of overwhelm or overstimulation? And what's one thing you're going to do to turn things around and make your life feel simpler, feel more calm than it currently is. We're not asking for perfection. We're not asking for a miracle cure. This is simply a moment in time where you can make a shift in your behavior and or your mindset that's going to get you closer to the life that you say that you want. So until next time, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. I'm high-fiving you right now because I'm so proud of you for putting your personal growth first. Remember, I believe in you, and with faith-filled intention and committed actions, you can lead your life, purpose, and family to wherever you dream possible. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you'd take 30 seconds to help others discover the show. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, share the show with your friends and family, or screenshot this episode to your Instagram stories and tag me at thehollyhibbard. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. I'm always here cheering you on, and until next time, stay curious, remain encouraged, and keep empowering yourself. You're doing better than you think, I promise.